Here in the studio with me now is one of my favorite guests, Dan Smith with the Vail Mountain Rescue. How are you doing this morning?
Doing good this morning, but it's this is my week to have coordinator duty, so it'll deteriorate rapidly.
It will, and especially now that we're into we were talking before the show, we're into the third season of hunting, which we have a lot of people starting to still come up into the valley from all over the country to try to partake in some of the great hunting, and it can be problematic for you.
It can. I mean, hunters usually are better dressed, but they carry no gear. Their gear's sitting back in camp. Before the snow starts to really fly, that pretty well works out. Now you get snow flying and they're not well dressed for it, and then they get lost and spend the night out, as one did Saturday night. It can get real interesting. Hunters can move pretty good distances for you. They're not on trails. No. They're moving through the woods, so you have to take a lot more people to look for them. They have these things called guns. That always makes us a little bit nervous. We like to remove the rifle bolt when we pick them up. I'm not really into taking your word that it's unloaded.
That's fair assessment. I think that's definitely a valid and a good safety precaution to take.
We have not worked a shot hunter in many years, which is good. People are being safe.
Yeah.
There was one last year, but it was in the parking lot, so it wasn't our job.
No, I think that falls in a different jurisdiction.
But it takes a lot. We did a hunter 3 weeks ago on the north side of Grouse Mountain, and he was up at 11,800 feet, which these hunters get to. Yeah. And a 16-year-old, he popped his back trying to lift an elk quarter. It took 18 people to carry him out. It wasn't the kind of injury you call a helicopter for. We look at the risk-benefit of helicopter flight, and there's always a risk. We do get some people that say, "Where's my helicopter?" It said, "It's sitting in the hangar because you're not getting one. Yeah. You're not hurt bad enough, and we're not in a bad enough position that we need that helicopter." So it took 18 people, and they started at about 6 o'clock at night, and they got him out at 7:28 the next morning. Okay. And used an ATV and UTV part of the way, but mostly it was just the Mark I hiking boot and people hauling a 17-pound litter with fortunately only a 150-pound kid on it. When you get some of our hunting parties are people from lower altitude who might not be in the best physical shape for high altitude and are often quite large. You get a 285-pound guy on a litter, you have some difficulties. We burn out people pretty quick. Everybody wants to go to bed the next morning.
Oh, yeah.
So hunting season is one of our more unique seasons. We've had 3 this year. We'll get more. Our record, I think, is 15 in 1 year. Yeah, well, that was a
lot of missions.
Yeah, a lot of missions. We don't get paid by the pound, so it's we don't get paid at all. In fact,
I was about
which
to
is
say
the good
you
part.
are a nonprofit organization.
So we'll be moving, transitioning from hunter. We've already transitioned our training program, starting in the dry land, the lecture part of beacon search and things like that.
Okay. Yep.
And as we get some snow, we'll be going out in the field and doing that.
Good.
So we're getting into backcountry skiers and snowmobilers, another favorite client type for us.
I was about to say, it goes from one busy season to another for you guys.
There's always transition, and there's always something you can do in the backcountry that if you do it wrong or your number comes up, you can get hurt.
Yeah. Moral of the story is over-prepare and make sure that you're safe, I guess.
And don't do anything alone. There's nothing here that you should do alone.
Yeah.
First of all, it's not as much fun as doing it with somebody else.
Very true.
Plus, if you get hurt, it's real nice to have somebody else go for help. If you're down in a hole someplace where your cell phone doesn't work, or in the case of this hunter Saturday night, you left your cell phone in base camp.
Yeah.
It may have been making calls, but we weren't getting them.
Oh, well, Dan, thank you very much for joining us. Some great information. Always love having you on. So, like I said, if you go out into the backcountry, always be prepared and never go alone. Moral of the story. Thank you for watching TV8, and we've got a weather report coming up for you here in just a minute.